Today's video is extremely near to my heart, but one that was incredibly difficult to make. September is Suicide Awareness Month, and for me, preparing for this video, I felt it was important to bring awareness to the suicide rates amongst farmers across America. In the United States, farmers are 40% more likely to take their life than the general population. Those rates of suicide are not just unique to the United States. And in fact, in places like Queensland, Australia, you're 2.2 times more likely to take your life if you're a farmer than the general population. So this is a video that not only was near to my heart, and even though it was tough to put together, I felt like it was something I had to share, because I'm someone who's faced depression, and I know what it's like. I know what it's like to feel like you're in a dark hole that you're never going to get out of. You dread waking up every morning, and the worst thing about waking up in the morning is that you know that the end of the day isn't going to bring you relief, because the next day you have to wake up and you have to face the same darkness and despair, and the feeling that this is what your new life is like, is that you don't experience joy, and you only feel the anxiety and worry, and then you become so overwhelmed by the fear of the depression itself, and your anxiety comes just from the way you feel, the gloom that you face every single day. So when thinking about this and preparing about this, I wanted to share my personal experience and the things that brought me help and hope. When I was in high school, I faced depression, and then in 2016 to 2018, I went through a depression, and they were different both times. In high school, I didn't have a strong faith in my life. I had faith, but it wasn't something that I cling to, and so in my mind, when I was in high school, the best route was suicide. And I remember I went to a friend, and I wanted to tell one person. And so I talked to my one friend that I didn't think would freak out, and I just let him know how depressed I was, and I just said, hey, I wanted one person to know, and I wanted to thank you. And he did not respond the way I thought he would. He told me, if you take your life, I will not go to your funeral, and I will hate you for the rest of mine. And I was like, what? Dude, I just explained to you what I was going through. And he said, I don't care. The pain that you're gonna cause me, the pain you're gonna cause the rest of your friends, and the pain you're gonna cause your family is not worth it. And so because of that help that he gave me, I was able to talk to my parents, and I was able to seek out therapy and do things that helped me along the way. But even that didn't really end until I gave my life to Jesus. And so when I made that commitment to follow Jesus Christ, like, my depression really went away, and I never experienced that until 2016. The depression later on in life, from 2016 to 2018, was different. I was able to process it different because of the things that I went through, and I was able to find victory in these three things, and these are the three things that I wanted to share with you. One, because of that experience with my friend when I was younger, I was able to always think, I will never take my life, because I could never do that to the people I love the most. And so even though the depression was darker and the despair was greater than even when I was in high school, every day I was able to remind myself that I had friends and I had family that I could never cause that much pain. So for me, sharing that to you, I want you to hold on. If you're someone who's facing depression, hold on to that fact and think about that every single day. These people love me, and if I were to be gone, then that would devastate them. And I don't want to do anything that would cause that much pain to the people that I love the most. The second thing that I did that was hard, it was so hard to do this, but my closest friends, I told them how depressed I was and how hard it was. And even though they couldn't help me, they didn't know what to say, and for me those conversations were so hard, I believed I owed it to them and to my wife to talk to them about what I was going through, because I knew they loved me and that they cared for me. And even though they didn't have advice, they couldn't help me get out of depression, their constant love and encouragement was something that helped keep me strong through all of it. So I encourage you, no matter how hard it is, tell the people closest to you how much pain you're in and how hard it is. The last thing that I want to share that to me is the most important thing that got me through my depression was my faith. I would wake up and I didn't read a lot of the Bible because it was hard. It was hard to even pray. But the thing that I would do is I would sing worship songs, and I would read portions of scripture that were keeping my focus on where it needed to be. And the one I remember the most is Psalms 34. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. And so I would read that verse and I would pray it over my life, and I would say, God, I don't feel like you are near. I feel alone and I feel abandoned, but I know that your word says that you are near to the brokenhearted, and my feelings are not what's true. Your word is always true. Your word is always firm. And so I would say these prayers to God, and I would say, God, I trust you. I trust that you are good, and I trust that you are going to bring me out of this. And I would cry, and I would read those promises, and I would remind myself of those promises every day. And when you go through it 2 years, reminding yourself of those promises is tough, because it seems like you're not seeing these promises fulfilled. But every single day I would do that, and I would remind myself of his goodness and his promises. And because I did that, Psalms 27 came true in my life. And the end of Psalms 27 says, I would have been despaired unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Be strong and let your heart take courage. Yes, wait for the Lord. And so I believe that God brought me through all of that depression because I held to his promises and believed that he would deliver me, and he did deliver me. Another promise I love is Hosea 6:3. It says, let us press on to know the Lord, for his coming forth is as certain as the dawn, and he will come to us like the rain, like the spring rain, watering the earth. That's a promise that was true for me, and I believe it's true for everybody. So I encourage you to look to God to bring you deliverance. And if you are facing depression and you are struggling and you need help, I encourage you to go to kansasstress.org. They have a 1-800 number at kansasstress.org. We'll put it in the show notes for today's video. And I encourage you to reach out to a professional that can help you and talk to them about what you're going through. And then also, like I said on those other 3 things, make sure that you're reminding yourself that you're loved, that you tell your friends about what you're going through. And if you don't have hope and faith in Jesus, I really encourage you to seek someone out and ask them questions that knows him, that can lead you on a path that will show you the hope and the joy that I got because I clinged to the promises and the hope that I had in my faith.